Hey guys, it's me again, Daphne, and I'm in Ninh Binh, Vietnam. Yesterday was one of those one in, I don't know, 20 days that is just a really bad travel day. I don't like to say I have bad days, but there are days where things go right, everything falls into place when you're traveling, and then there are other days when no matter how hard I try, things are not falling into place. But today is a new day, and look at this view. This is my private balcony with a great view to the middle of the town. Little square right there. That's Tam Coc mountain where I was aiming to get to. Closest, best view I could find. And there's a river. It is a holiday here in Vietnam. It is Unification Holiday, which I think is amazing that they have Unification Day. I wish we had Unification Day in the United States. I believe unification is when the North and South reunified in Vietnam. Wouldn't that be nice if we had that reunification day and celebrating coming together? Anyway, because of that, there's a lot going on, a lot of traffic, a lot of people out and about going to fun, beautiful places in Vietnam for their vacation, like Ninh Binh. Ninh Binh is 1.5 to 2 hours south of Hanoi. So I tried everything yesterday to get transportation out of Hanoi. I had a travel agent helping me. She looked into private cars, to shared limo services, to even the train, I believe. Wait, was it the train? So many options. We were just trying to get anything and could not find it. She actually put together, thought a car or something was coming by like 2 or 3 times, and they would call and say, no, sorry, we can't fit anyone else. So I was at the hotel from the previous night and I couldn't even get a taxi or a grab car, which is an equivalent of Uber. I couldn't get anything away from the area myself, and with her help either. That's not the glamorous part of travel that people talk about, but it happens. Things go wrong. And part of being a traveler is going with the flow and not getting so upset when things out of my control happen. Sometimes they happen well and I'm happy, sometimes they don't happen so well. So yesterday, the last bus from the bus station, she advised me not to go on the bus. I understand why now. But it was my last opportunity to get here last night, and I really didn't want to just spend another night in Hanoi because I was just ready to be here and I had plans for the next week and days and stuff. So I was just like, I'm gonna make it to the bus station. So she organized a taxi for me. I also got a grab car finally after waiting, and I was lucky enough to get a car to take me to the bus station. The bus station is huge and hustling and bustling, and I had about 9 minutes from the entrance to figure out where to get the tickets, how to get the tickets, finding the bus. It was like, I felt like I was on The Amazing Race. And I had huge suitcases. I have one big one and one small one. I only used one small one for part of my trip, but now I'm taking both of them since I'm going long-term down south. I made it tough. I rushed in there. I used Google Translate when I had internet before. I thought of questions I might need to ask when I got to the train station. I took screenshots of it. I got the help I needed. I got on the bus, and I was so grateful to get on the bus. I was like, thank goodness. So I got there, got a seat, and I was selfishly hoping, oh, I hope I have the seat next to me open so I can like kind of stretch, because I had some back issues. And I did not want to sit like upright for 2.5 hours. And it was a really cramped bus, so tight. And I'm pretty long, I have long legs compared to most people here, so when I put my legs out straight, they actually jammed into the seat. I really didn't fit. I had to go to the side, like sideways, to fit into the seat. I was hoping that I would get a seat to myself. Guess what? There were 2 seats and then an aisle, small aisle, 2 seats. We ended up having 2 people sitting on a board across the seats. So there were 6 across. So not only were there 2 people in a seat, but it was like 2.5 to 3. Not only that, I counted the seats on the bus. There were 29 seats. 29 seats on the bus. I counted at one point up to 51, maybe 52 people that were in the bus. It was packed. And not only did we leave the station when it was packed, but he kept stopping along the way, and people would come in the bus and basically just, it was jammed into the front. Some people were standing, some people were sitting on the ground. I got a little claustrophobic. I'm not used to that. And it was a long bus ride. It wasn't one of those like city buses. It was like one of these tour buses rides that is going a long distance. So then after an hour and a half, he started letting people off on the side of the highway, just on the shoulder. It looked like a regular highway, just pulling off, letting people on the shoulder and just walking somewhere. I don't know where. He yells that it's my stop, luckily, because he knew I was getting off at Ninh Binh. And I get off. I don't know where I am. It's kind of late at night, like 9. I don't know, my GPS, my internet doesn't work, my phone doesn't work. I'm just on the side of the street. So I just start walking the direction another person that got off was walking, and I spotted a taxi. So I took that taxi. I didn't care if they ripped me off. I did not care if I spent a little extra on anything. I just wanted to get to a place to call home. So the taxi picks me up. And then I show him the address, and we start driving, and he gets to the general town of Tam Coc. And he's in the center of the town, which is actually right behind me. And he's like gonna drop me off, and I'm like, I need to be at this hotel. And I showed him the address, and he didn't know where it was. He was just gonna drop me off in the middle of the town and at night. And once I gave him the phone number, he called for me. They had a really long conversation, and I didn't know what was happening. But then he started driving, and he drove to the place, which is a homestay, like 3 minutes towards that mountain. Towards that mountain. And I got there, and everyone seemed really confused, like not happy confused. And I showed them my, I got it on hotels.com, because I've had problems with booking.com before, and I don't really know how people reserve. I'm still learning a lot about about travel. So I showed it to them. After about 10 minutes, they just asked me to wait. They got me pineapple juice, fresh squeezed pineapple juice while I waited. They were so nice. And then they came to me with someone that kind of was able to interpret a little bit, and she was like, we don't take hotels.com anymore. I don't know why they let you do that, and we don't have room for 2 nights, but you can stay here tonight, and then tomorrow we'll find a place for you. So I was like, okay. They were really, really kind and nice about it, and I was really grateful about that. I was kind of hoping to be able to settle in one place for 2 nights, get my stuff out and just kind of feel like I have a home away from home for 2 nights, but it's okay. It all worked out. It was a beautiful location. But then she took me here where her brother and sister-in-law have this place, and I guess they have some space. And this is cool too. It's like a different view, center of town. Her sister-in-law is super helpful too, gave me some suggestions on after I take the boat for 2 hours, I'm gonna go up that way and go to a temple. I have some other ideas for tomorrow, so just thought I would share that crazy travel experience. Travel is not always like this, but look how long it took me to describe all of the craziness. Hey guys, I met my first fellow solo female traveler. So happy we met. We're going on this boat tour thing. Just the Tam Coc, and we're gonna see the mountains, and we have an amazing person doing the work for us. This is the river we went down yesterday. This is the top of the mountain we saw from the river yesterday. It's really high. I walked from way down over there. This is the Bich Dong Pagoda. The incense smells so good. It's very warm. I'm about to climb the top of this big mountain rock, sticking way up high in the air.